One country is unbeatable at home. One legend just rewrote the record books. And one team that nobody trusted is about to shock the world again. This is Matchday 2 of the 2026 World Cup. And trust me, by the end of this video, you are going to want to scream at your screen. Let's get into it. First up, Mexico against South Korea. And honestly, Mexico were relentless on Matchday 1. A dominant win over South Africa. A goal from Uriel Antuna. And an emotional moment from Raul Jimenez, who scored his first ever World Cup goal and dedicated it to his late father. That is the kind of moment that stays with you. South Korea, meanwhile, were written off before the tournament even started. Poor form, doubt from their own fans. But Lee Kong-in and Wang Ui-jo dragged them back into their opener with real quality. Still, Mexico, at home, in front of that crowd? I do not see them slipping here. I am calling a 3-2 win for Mexico. Entertaining, chaotic, but Mexico get the points. Next, the Czech Republic against South Africa. Czechia are playing a style built entirely around set pieces, and it is working. Their captain has now scored from corners and throw-ins on the biggest stages of his career. South Africa, on the other hand, fell apart completely against the hosts. 9 men by the final whistle. That is not a typo. 9 men. I am taking Czechia. 2-1, set pieces win again. Now here is one that genuinely surprised me. Switzerland against Bosnia and Herzegovina. Switzerland, a nation that almost always makes the knockouts, somehow could not beat Qatar in their opener. Let that sink in. Bosnia, meanwhile, went toe-to-toe with host nation Canada in Toronto and walked away with a point. Bosnian fans even outnumbered the Canadians on the streets that night. But consistency matters at this level. I still have Switzerland turning it around here. 2-1, with Xhaka finding the net. Let's talk about the Americans. Because if you have not watched the USA's opener yet, stop what you are doing after this video and go watch it. 4-1 against Paraguay. Pulisic constantly causing chaos. Fuller and Balogun becoming the first American to score a brace at a World Cup since 1930. This was, without question, one of the best performances this nation has ever produced on home soil. Now they face Australia, who pulled off their own shock, beating Turkey 2-0. Despite Turkey dominating possession almost the entire match. 28 shots to 8. And Turkey still lost. That is football for you. I think this one is closer than people expect. But I am backing the USA. 2-1, in front of a home crowd that is only getting louder as this tournament goes on. Here is a stat that should scare every single one of their opponents. Lionel Messi did not just score 1 goal against Saudi Arabia. Not 2, 3, a hat-trick, the only player at this entire World Cup to manage that so far. He tied Miroslav Klose's all-time World Cup scoring record in the process. And became the oldest player ever to score a hat-trick at this tournament. If you needed proof that Messi is still operating on a different level, that performance was it. Argentina face Austria next, and as good as Austria's 3-1 win over Jordan was, I simply cannot bet against Messi right now. Argentina, 3-1, and do not be shocked if Messi breaks Klose's record in the process. Quick question for you before we move forward. Out of every match we have covered so far, which result do you think is most likely to get flipped on its head? Drop your pick in the comments right now, because some of these matches genuinely feel like coin flips. Now let's talk about the upset I am sticking with no matter what. Germany absolutely destroyed Curaçao on Matchday 1. 7-1. Curaçao, the smallest nation ever to qualify for a World Cup, still made history with their first ever World Cup goal, and that moment deserves real respect. But here is where it gets interesting. Ivory Coast just beat one of the most disciplined defenses in world football, Ecuador, thanks to a dramatic late winner from a substitute. And I called this upset before the tournament even started. I am not switching now. Ivory Coast to beat Germany. 2-1, write that down. A few more stories worth your attention. Portugal struggled badly in their opener. A 1-1 draw against DR Congo where Ronaldo barely looked like himself. And neither did Bruno Fernandes or Vitinha. Worrying signs for one of the tournament favorites. They face Uzbekistan next, and I do think they bounce back here. 2-0. England, on the other hand, look like an entirely different team under their new manager. 4 goals against Croatia, a brace from Harry Kane. If that form continues against Ghana, I have England winning comfortably. 3-1. and Saudi Arabia pulled off their second consecutive World Cup shock against South America, holding Uruguay to a draw after their goalkeeper made 9 incredible saves. Spain face Saudi Arabia next, and after a frustrating 1-each draw against Cape Verde, I expect Spain to finally click 2-0, with Lamine Yamal getting on the scoresheet. Last one before we wrap up, and this is the pick I am most excited about. Iran have been through more before this tournament than almost any team here. Forced to relocate training camps, constant travel disruption, and yet they fought back twice just to draw with New Zealand on Matchday 1. I am going with my gut here. Iran to beat Belgium, 1-0. Call it an upset if you want. I call it heart-beating logic. So that is Matchday 2. Mexico holding strong, Messi rewriting history, England looking terrifying, and Ivory Coast continuing what might be the most exciting underdog run of this entire World Cup. Now I want to hear from you. Which prediction do you think I have completely wrong? And more importantly, is there an upset coming on Matchday 2 that nobody is talking about yet? Tell me everything in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button right now. It genuinely helps this channel reach more football fans just like you. Subscribe if you have not already, because we are covering every single match day of this World Cup, all the way to the final. And share this with a friend who needs to see their team's prediction before kickoff. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one.